Hey guys, Prowl 1701, and today on It's Armageddon, we're going to be talking about what if you could only save 3 stories from each of Patrick Troughton's seasons. Now, we recently did this similar video with the 4th Doctor, where you can only pick 3 stories from each of the 4th Doctor's seasons. I really enjoyed filming that, so I decided to start looking at maybe some of the other Doctors like that too, and excuse me. Today we're going to be doing the 2nd Doctor. Now for season 4, we're only going to focus on the Troughton stories. So let's say for whatever reason you've already got the Smugglers, or what's left of it, saved, and the 10th Planet saved. We're not going to worry about those. We're just going to focus on the 7 stories that make up Troughton stories in season 4. That's what we're going to focus on. And then of course the 7 stories in season 5 and 7 stories in season 6. What if you could only pick 3 from each of those? So less than half from each. Which ones would you save? And why? For season 4, Power of the Daleks. I know it's animated, but most of series 4 is animated, especially the Troughton stuff. Most of it's animated. I like the animation. I like the audio. I love the story. Power of the Daleks is my 2nd favorite Dalek story of all time. The fact that it's purely in animated form, aside from a few snippets, is a testament to just how good this story is. David Whittaker writes the Daleks better than anyone. The only other Dalek story I like better only has one Dalek in it, which is, of course, Dalek from the modern series. But when it comes to writing Daleks plural, there's nobody better than David Whittaker. He just gets the Daleks. He gets that they're geniuses, that they're twisted, that they're manipulative, and that their ultimate goal is to win and destroy everything, not Dalek, and that they will use people as tools until they don't need them anymore. David Whittaker really gets the Daleks. And I love Power of the Daleks. And it's just a great introduction to Troughton's Doctor. And Troughton takes to the role very quickly what you can get from the audio and the animation. I absolutely love Power of the Daleks. The second one I would pick is the Moon Base. I love the Moon Base. It's my favorite Troughton performance as the Doctor. He's just, even though only episodes 2 and 4 survive, he's so good in those. He's so good in those. And the animation for episodes 1 and 3 is really good. I really like that. It's one of the 2 best animations. I love how good the likenesses to the characters are in it. I love that kind of, I don't know what they call that retroscope animation style. Whatever that animation style is called that Planet 55 did, I really, really liked. And I think it's just perfected here in Moonbase. I wish they had done Underwater Menace as well afterwards as was originally intended, because Moonbase is so good. But just the story is good. I don't think the Cybermen design are the best, but the story is really good. I enjoy it. I actually prefer it over the 10th Planet, even if it is kind of a rehash of 10th Planet. And it's got one of the best cliffhangers in all of Doctor Who with the end of episode 2, which I've talked about on the channel before, how much I love. I think it's one of my favorite Doctor Who cliffhangers. It's so good. Got to keep the Moon Base, and especially so we'll have some surviving footage from episode 4, or from season 4. And then my last one, part of me wanted to say Macroterra, because you guys know I like the Macroterra. I'm very fond of its animation, but I had to go with Evil of the Daleks. Again, David Whittaker writing the Daleks. I love Evil of the Daleks. It's not as good as Power, but it's still really good. I really enjoy Evil of the Daleks. Isn't an episode too long? Maybe, but it's still really good. Again, you get the intelligence of the Daleks and the creative nature of the Daleks and how manipulative they can be, I should say. That's what I meant to say, the manipulative nature of the Daleks. Plus, I love the human Daleks. Who cannot just love the human Daleks? They're adorable. It's amazing to me that you can take something that's just pretty much evil incarnate and so deadly and creepy sounding with their mechanical voices and turn them into something that's just like lovable teddy bears. So easily, with just a slight change in their, well, you change in their dialogue, but slight different inflection on that mechanical voice. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Plus, I love the surviving episode 2. The surviving episode 2 is phenomenally good. Troughton is on fire in that episode. I will not be your slave. I love that. I love that whole scene when he's putting together the Daleks are responsible for that. Static. Did you say static? I love how he immediately latches on when they start talking about static. And the Doctor knows back then that they move by static. and you see him putting it together. So by the time the Dalek comes through there, Troughton's just like, oh, yes, I understand. It's such great acting on Troughton's part. I wish more of this story survived, but I'm so grateful episode 2 survives. And the animation is good. I think Evil of the Daleks is one of the best animations. I especially love the animation for parts 6 and 7. I love that, because most of the story I can watch in black and white, but I love episodes 6 and 7 in color. Once they get on Skaro, everything is just phenomenal. Such a good story. Have to keep it. Season 5, Tomb of the Cybermen. I think pretty much all of Season 5 is a bit overrated. But Tomb of the Cybermen, while I think is overrated, I do think it's essential Doctor Who viewing. It is easily one of the most essential, complete Troughton stories every Doctor Who fan needs to see. It has some very iconic imagery. Troughton has some great lines in it. He just looks like he's having such a fun time in this story. And of course, his conversation with Victoria is iconic for a reason. It's a great, wonderful conversation they have when she talks about her father. I love that. The Cyberman design and voice work's not my favorite, but I do love the scene of them waking up in the tombs and it defrosting. A lot of good stuff going in Tomb of the Cybermen. Every Doctor Who fan needs to see Tomb of the Cybermen, so I would have to say that. Next on the list is Enemy of the World. This is more because it's complete. I like Enemy of the World, but I do think it's Troughton's most overrated story. I think Troughton's great in it. He's great playing the Doctor. He's great playing Salamander. He's great playing the Doctor playing Salamander. He's great playing Salamander playing the Doctor. Troughton is great in this story. And it's such a testament to his skill as an actor. He's able to pull off the little nuances. Like, him playing Salamander is not quite the same as him playing the Doctor impersonating Salamander. There's little differences, and I love little things like that. But I'm also one of those people that get a little irked with well, there's this person who looks like the main character, and it's all a complete coincidence. That always kind of rubs me wrong. One of the reasons why I've never been that into Hearing the Massacre. I never like here's someone that looks like someone who's normally in the show trope. It makes sense when it's done in stories like, even in The Chase, even though it's wasted, it makes sense as a plot device why there's someone that looks like the first Doctor there. Meglos is the best example. I enjoy Meglos. I think it's a very underrated story. You know, it's part of the plot why Tom Baker's playing 2 roles in the story, and it makes sense, whereas here's just a coincidence, and that always rubs me wrong. But it is a complete Troughton story, and it is one that, since it's been found, has been reevaluated and is held in pretty high regard. And I would save it for those 2 things. So less because of my own personal satisfaction and more for other people. So, you know, after we all climb out of our bomb shelters after the nuclear war and everything, I can be like, hey guys, I have Enemy of the World, and y'all can all be like, praise him. And last but not least, kind of continuing on with the trend, is Web of Fear. It's mostly intact. It's a very iconic story. Again, like basically all of Season 5, I think it's a little overrated. It's good. It's a little overrated. I never get these people who think Season 5 is Troughton's best season. I completely disagree. It's my least favorite Troughton season, personally. Still good. It's Troughton, and I love Troughton. And I like Web of Fear. It's a great story. I mean, it's mostly complete, only missing episode 3. And it is animated, though I think I might prefer the Telesnap Recon to that animation. But at least they did an attempt with it, and it's something maybe they can refine for future animations later. But it is good, and being mostly complete, I would definitely save that one. And it's great to have, you know, Lethbridge Stewart joining in, Colonel Lethbridge Stewart joining in on the fray there. And then for the final season, the Invasion, right off the bat, you gotta have the Invasion. I think the Invasion might objectively be the best Cyberman story, and which is a testament considering they don't show up till about halfway through the story. But some of the images of the Cybermen coming out of sewers and walking around the city, I think is some of the most iconic images in all of Doctor Who, to where, you know, at the end of Series 8, they kind of did a nod to that with the Cybermen running around there. And to me, the shots in Series 8 still don't look as iconic as the old black and white footage from the Invasion. And then I think you have one of the best human villains in Vaughn. I think Vaughn was, the guy playing him does such a good job. And I think the guy playing Packard does a good job too. You know, they really are. One's the brains, one's the brawn, basically. And they do a great little 1-2 punch duo there. But the guy playing Vaughn especially, man, he just, such a good villain. He just imbues him with such villainy. I don't know the word I'm looking for there. But he is. I think he's one of the best human villains. So you have a great human villain. You have a great human villain sidekick. And then you also have, the Cybermen being great in it in the second half. It's just, and then you also have the return of the Brigadier as the Brigadier finally. You have Benton's first story as well. Some iconic location shots. And then just a really good story. I mean, the only real bad part is that 2 of the episodes are missing. I wish the invasion was complete. That is 2 of the episodes, at least one of them, but I'd love to find both the missing episodes of the invasion. I think if the invasion was complete, it would probably be considered better than Tomb of the Cybermen. But the animations are great. The animations for episode 1 and 4 are good. Love the invasion. Next on the list, the War Games. You got to have the War Games. It's iconic. I love the War Games. All 10 episodes, not just episode 10. I love the War Games. I think it's a nice, epic send-off for the second Doctor. I enjoy how this story is like an onion. You're slowly peeling it off in layers. You think you know what's going on. You think you're here, but then you find out you're here. And then you're trying to wonder what's going on. What's with the people with the evil glasses? Nice to have a David Troughton cameo. It's just interesting as you learn more and more and more about the story to where you get that phenomenal episode 9 cliffhanger, which is also one of my favorite cliffhangers in all of Doctor Who. I love that iconic shot when they're running towards the TARDIS in slow motion with Troughton out in front, and they're doing that. I love that shot. It's one of my favorite camera shots in all of Doctor Who. I mean, it's such, a low, it's low technology shot. I don't know what I'm trying to say, like a primitive technological shot. It's just everything slowed down, but it works so effectively and gives you an idea of just how powerful the Time Lords were back then before they got neutered in the Deadly Assassin. Or Spaded, if you would prefer. They're nowhere near as powerful from Deadly Assassin on, but the fact they had such control over time in the story, and that even when the Doctor was trying to get away, the Time Lords were like, "We know where you are, Doctor, get back here." And then, of course, the epic episode 10. I love episode 10. That is essential viewing for every Doctor Who fan, episode 10 of War Games. And then the last one on here would be the Mind Robber. I love when Doctor Who does these original ideas that are definitely not by the numbers TV or by the numbers Doctor Who. It's one of the reasons I love Ghostlight as much as I do as well. And I think Mind Robber is just a clever story that really takes a minimalist approach that complements Doctor Who's budget or lack of budget really well. And the fact that Doctor Who doesn't have any money back then really to work with, the fact they took the approach they did with this minimalist design turns out to be really effective. This is another example of 60s Doctor Who really having an advantage in being black and white. I don't know if this would have worked in color, but being in black and white, I think it makes the approach they took for the Mind Robber much more effective. Such a good story. So I would like to know what you think of my choices and which ones you would choose. If you could only save 3 stories from each of Troughton's seasons, comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out. It's always nice to get a good thumbs up. I am trying, of course, to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal for 2023, and we are well on our way. I also have a Patreon if you would like to join that. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Stephen Crane, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. That does help me keep bills paid, so I appreciate all of the support I get for that. A link to that's down in the description below, as is a link to my a link to my Amazon wish list, and my P.O. box is down there as well if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.